Have you never thought, why did we ever stop talking completely?
No, I always think about that, and I know why.
Why?
Because how I did drugs after that.
You had enough awareness to get a burner phone, to call a drug dealer, to get what you needed to get, to send security away,
Well, what
to
did
do
I
what
just
you
tell-
needed to
what
do
did I
for
just-
me to find out, and
All
then
I
for me
could
to
do-
punch you in the face.
All I
Because
could-
I punched you in the face, I shattered everything in that house.
I don't remember that.
This devastating news has rocked the Kardashian world once again. Lamar Odom, Khloé Kardashian's ex-husband, was arrested in Las Vegas on January 17, 2026, for DUI and speeding, marking yet another heartbreaking chapter in his ongoing battle with addiction. For those who followed this story for over a decade, this latest arrest feels like watching a tragic movie unfold in real time. Lamar Odom, the 46-year-old former NBA champion, who once seemed to have it all, found himself back in handcuffs during the early morning hours of that Saturday, sitting in the Clark County Detention Center as the news exploded across social media. Here's the full picture of what happened that night in Vegas. According to police reports, Odom wasn't just pulled over for a simple traffic violation. He was cited for driving under the influence, speeding more than 41 miles per hour over the posted limit, and improper lane change or failure to maintain his lane. This wasn't a case of being slightly over the limit or making a minor mistake. This was serious, reckless behavior that could have ended in tragedy. As of midday Saturday, Lamar remained in custody, with a court date scheduled for March 17th in Nevada court. But for anyone who knows Lamar's history, this arrest represents so much more than just another celebrity DUI. This is a man who has publicly battled demons that have nearly killed him multiple times. To understand why this news hits so hard, especially for Khloé, we need to go back to where it all began. Lamar Odom was once basketball royalty. Drafted 4th overall by the Los Angeles Clippers in 1999, he went on to have a stellar 14-season NBA career, playing for the Clippers, Lakers, Miami Heat, and Dallas Mavericks. His crowning achievements came with back-to-back NBA championships with the Lakers in 2009 and 2010. He was living the American dream. But even during his peak basketball years, the warning signs were there. In 2001 and 2002, Lamar was suspended by the NBA for failing drug tests. The league doesn't suspend players lightly, especially not rising stars who bring in millions of revenue. This should have been a wake-up call, but addiction doesn't follow logical timelines. Then came 2009, when Lamar's life took what seemed like a fairy tale turn. He married Khloé Kardashian in a televised ceremony that captured the hearts of millions of viewers. Here was this gentle giant of a basketball player, marrying into America's most famous family. Their relationship was documented on Keeping Up with the Kardashians and their own spin-off show, Khloé and Lamar. Fans watched them laugh together, travel together, and seemingly build a life together. But behind the cameras, Lamar's struggles were intensifying. By 2013, the same year they filed for divorce, Lamar was arrested for DUI in California. This wasn't his first brush with substance abuse, but it was becoming increasingly public. He entered a drug and alcohol rehabilitation facility 1 week after that arrest. His plea deal resulted in 3 years of probation, a mandatory 3-month alcohol education program, and approximately $1,800 in fines and penalties. The divorce filing in 2013 marked the beginning of the end of their marriage, though the legal process wouldn't be finalized until 2016. During this time, Lamar's life spiraled further out of control. He attempted an NBA comeback in 2014 with the New York Knicks, but was cut after failing to report. His basketball career was effectively over, and without that structure and purpose, his addiction took an even stronger hold. Then came October 2015, the moment that changed everything. Lamar nearly died from an overdose at a Las Vegas brothel, the same city where he would be arrested again over a decade later. The details of what happened that night are harrowing and were later documented in his 2019 memoir, Darkness to Light. His heart stopped twice. He suffered 12 seizures and 6 strokes. His lungs collapsed, his kidneys ruptured, and he was placed on life support. The overdose involved a deadly combination of cocaine, alcohol, and cannabis. For days, it was unclear whether Lamar would survive. He was later transferred to a Los Angeles hospital, where he remained until January 2016, fighting for his life and learning to walk and talk again. Here's where Khloé's story becomes even more complex and heartbreaking. Despite their divorce proceedings, they were still legally married when Lamar overdosed. This meant Khloé was the one making critical medical decisions about his care. Imagine being in that position. Your ex-husband, someone you still love but can't save from his addiction, is dying, and you're the only one who can authorize his treatment. Khloé put her own life on hold during those months. She was by his bedside, coordinating with doctors, managing his care, and essentially becoming his advocate when he couldn't advocate for himself. This wasn't just about their romantic relationship. This was about basic human compassion and the bond they had shared. The years that followed showed Lamar attempting to rebuild his life. He became involved in operating several rehabilitation centers, offering help to others struggling with addiction, including troubled Jackass star Bam Margera. He wrote his memoir, sharing intimate details about his addiction and recovery journey. He appeared to be on a path toward healing, but addiction is a lifelong battle, and Lamar has been refreshingly honest about his ongoing struggles. In 2024, after the tragic death of One Direction's Liam Payne, Lamar opened up about his own experiences with recreational drugs, including pink cocaine. He made the shocking admission that he had taken every drug that was detected in Payne's toxicology report. He also shared disturbing details about drug-induced hallucinations, saying, "I've heard voices before." Just last month, in December 2025, Lamar appeared on a podcast and made a statement that now feels eerily prophetic. "I wish I was never introduced to cocaine or any other narcotic substances stronger than marijuana. I wish I would have stopped there. Me doing other drugs gave people the right for judgment." This was a man who seemed to understand the gravity of his situation, yet was still struggling to break free from it. Which brings us back to that Saturday morning in Las Vegas. According to sources close to the situation, Lamar's former manager wasn't surprised to learn of his arrest. Think about how devastating that statement is. The people closest to him have come to expect these kinds of incidents. They love him, they want to help him, but they've watched this cycle repeat so many times that surprise has been replaced by sad resignation. For Khloé, this news must feel like being hit by a freight train all over again. She spent years trying to move forward, building a life with her daughter True, working on her businesses, and attempting to heal from the trauma of watching someone she loved nearly die from addiction. She's been open about how Lamar's struggles affected her own mental health and ability to trust in future relationships. Throughout all of this, it's important to remember the human cost beyond just Lamar and Khloé. Lamar has 2 children with his ex-girlfriend, Liza Morales, Lamar Jr. and Destiny, who have watched their father's public struggles their entire lives. He also lost a son, Jaden, who died at 6 months old from SIDS in 2006. This man has experienced loss and trauma that would break most people, and addiction became his way of coping with unbearable pain. The pattern we're seeing with Lamar isn't uncommon among people struggling with addiction. There are moments of clarity, periods of sobriety, attempts at helping others, and then devastating relapses that undo months or years of progress. Each time, the people who love them experience renewed hope followed by crushing disappointment. What makes this particularly painful is that Lamar has had access to resources that most people struggling with addiction don't have. He's had world-class medical care, expensive rehabilitation programs, financial support, and a platform to share his story and help others. Yet here he is, at 46 years old, sitting in a Las Vegas jail cell, facing his court date in March. This arrest also highlights the ongoing debate about how we as a society treat addiction and celebrities struggling with substance abuse. There's often a voyeuristic element to how we consume these stories. We're fascinated by the drama and the downfall, but we sometimes forget that real people are suffering behind the headlines. The timing of this arrest is particularly cruel. We're in a new year, traditionally a time for fresh starts and resolutions. Instead, Lamar is facing the possibility of serious jail time, especially given his previous DUI conviction in 2013. Nevada takes repeat DUI offenses seriously, and with the additional charges of excessive speeding and improper lane change, he could be looking at significant consequences. For Khloé and the entire Kardashian family, this news brings back all the trauma and helplessness they felt during Lamar's 2015 overdose. They've learned the hard way that you can't love someone out of addiction. No matter how famous you are or how many resources you have access to, all you can do is protect yourself and hope that the person you care about eventually finds their way to lasting recovery. As we wait to see how this latest chapter unfolds, one thing is certain: Lamar Odom's story is far from over. Whether this arrest becomes another tragic footnote in his struggle with addiction or serves as the wake-up call that finally leads to lasting change remains to be seen. But for now, all we can do is hope that this 46-year-old man, father, and former champion finds the strength to fight for his life one more time.